Hello there. Thanks for joining us on TVC Midday News. I am Mike Okwache. We begin the bulletin with the state visit of President Muhammadu Buhari to Imo State. The president arrived at the airport Owerri this morning and has already commenced his day-long official visit and tour of the state. As part of his visit to the southeastern state, President Muhammadu Buhari will inaugurate projects that have been completed by Governor Hope Uzodinma-led administration. The projects will be inaugurated are the construction of the dualized Owerri-Olu Road and first phase of Owerri-Okigwe Road, then the rebuilt Imo State House of Assembly complex. And according to the governor, these projects were abandoned by previous administrations in the state, but he believes that the projects are important to the growth and development of the state. The president also visited Imo State last year to inaugurate some economic projects built by the Hope Uzodinma-led administration. And here in Lagos, many residents have been affected by a flooding caused by heavy rains. Several persons escaped death while buildings and properties have been destroyed. On Monday, 9 persons were rescued from a sinking building in Maryland by the National Emergency Management Agency. The zonal coordinator for NEMA, Ibrahim Farinloye, noted that the landlord of the building has been handed over to the police for failure to contact emergency responders when the incident happened. Inyola Pupola has the story.
This is the building that was alleged to have sunk earlier today in Lagos. But a visit by TVC News crew to the area showed otherwise. Few hours after the report of the sunk building and rescue of 9 persons broke, the owner of the building has a different story to tell.
So what we have is a backlash from the canal moving into the street. As you can see, you are here live. There's no building sinking, no collapse and all that. I think as allegedly, because I've not confirmed that any of my tenants called, what they need to do for us is to dredge the canal and then we'll be fine.
Although there were no residents in sight, an eyewitness says while the building is bent, it has been standing for about 14 years with no deficiency.
Surprised, we neighbors, we are surprised because we have been here for almost 14 years now. And that building bent, though it bent, and they have been like that for 14 years now. Just like normal Lagos flooding and them. But this one is, we have natural disaster.
With the trend of floods, many fear that the rain may cause more damage to buildings in the area. At the moment, flood has taken over roads in the area, but residents say it is due to the blockage of drainage. Now they are calling for urgent attention from the government to avoid further losses. Inyola Pupola, TVC News, Lagos.
And now let's turn our attention to the nation's capital, where President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, is urging the judiciary to expedite justice on all oil bunkers and crude oil thieves apprehended by security forces. Senator Lawan made this move will serve as a deterrent to others. The National Assembly correspondent, Tijesu Adelie, has the story.
A few weeks after the Senate made a distress call to security agencies over the spate of insecurity in the country, the legislative body is now meeting again with heads of security agencies. This time, it is to commend the efforts made so far in confronting terrorists and bandits. The President of the Senate appreciates the security forces for the remarkable progress achieved since their last meeting.
I am happy, and I'm sure I will be speaking the minds of my colleagues, that from then, after that meeting, to today, we have seen remarkable difference in the fight against insecurity in our country by our armed forces and other security agencies. And we are very, very proud of that.
But the Senate President is worried about the worsening rate of oil theft in the country, which he says has heavily impacted on the country's revenue. He urges the judiciary to speed up the dispensation of justice on those found culpable, as it will also be a deterrent to others.
Those who have made every effort to steal our oil at an industrial scale, I'm sure some of them may not be that likely to escape. We want to see trials of people who are caught, because when that happens, citizens will know that nobody, no matter how highly that person is, can go scot-free.
Journalists were later excused from the meeting, which continued behind closed doors when it was time to divulge some classified and sensitive security updates. The meeting had in attendance the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Air Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, the Inspector General of Police, and other heads of security agencies. Tijesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
The Minister of Interior is seeking intervention funds to allow the Nigeria Correctional Services complete a 3,000 inmate capacity custodial center in Karshi on the outskirts of Abuja metropolis. Rauf Oregbeshola says that the facility is vital to the prison decongestion drive of the federal government. Sifonestian has the story.
A facility tour by the Minister of Interior. When completed, the 3,000 inmate capacity custodial center will house maximum and medium security holding centers, skills acquisition centers, and other facilities.
You have a mega custodial facility here. Nothing like this exists on the continent of Africa. This facility will have capacity to hold 3,000 inmates of whatever, of several, of different categories. You have a female section that is not yet built at all. And here you have the male. We have special facility for difficult inmates, and that's how best to put it. And you have facilities for ordinary inmates.
The custodial center is about 50% completed, even though work was stalled due to insufficient funds. It is one of 6 centers under construction across the country as part of the federal government's drive to decongest and improve living conditions in prisons across the country.
My desire is to have the first 3 of the 6 completed before this administration ends in May of next year. And I'm working at it. I'm going to approach the president for support so as to get the 3, namely the one in Kano, this, and the one in Buhari River State.
The modern facilities are in sharp contrast to other custodial centers, some of which are as old as 100 years. Sifon Asian, TVC News, Abuja.
Workers in the aviation sector have threatened to commence a nationwide strike in the next 2 weeks if the federal government does not meet their demands. The workers want the government to expunge alleged obnoxious anti-labor clauses in the proposed laws of agencies in the industry. TVC News correspondent Jokadisa has the story.
The government is seeking to amend and/or enact laws to further regulate the aviation sector through its agencies. While the workers yearn for laws that impact the sector and their lives, they accuse the authorities of plans to take away their right to unionism. Among the clauses in contention is the one seeking to grant power to the Minister of Aviation to regulate not only the sector, but the activities of the workers. Government, by the clause, seeks to classify the sector as an essential service provider, hence the need to ban strikes and protests. This is why the workers have gathered on the first working day of the week at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. They say government's action violates the provisions of the Trade Dispute Act and other labor laws, including that of the International Labour Organization.
We don't carry guns, but we have a strength in the unity and our numbers. The strength to shut down without going to court. The strength to picket the strength to protest. Comrades, this strength given to us by our forefathers is what the present administration wants to take out from us.
From the general aviation terminal through the international airports and to the toll gate, the workers defied security presence to pass across their message.
They went behind and slot in such clauses that take away our rights and our voices.
We will not be allowed to carry out strikes. We will not be allowed to carry out picketing. We will not be allowed to carry out lockout.
Our members are not happy. You can see their faces, the high level of aggression in them. But with our ability, we are calming them down.
They have written separate letters to the two aviation committees of the National Assembly demanding their intervention. The unions also called on President Muhammadu Buhari to decline assent to the controversial clauses they alleged were inserted after public hearings on the bills.
The workers have vowed to use all legitimate labor means to resist every attempt by the federal government to take away their voices. And they have spoken here, indeed, in one voice. They remain united, and united they will continue to stand to the end of this struggle. TVC News, Abuja.
Now, ahead of the 2023 election, the Independent National Electoral Commission has delisted 1.1 million newly registered voters. A statement by the National Coordinator and the Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, during the cleaning up of the exercise of register of voters using the automated biometric identification system, the Commission detected several double and multiple and ineligible registrations. Mr. Okoye stated that out of the 2.5 million fresh registrations done between 28th June 2021 and 14th January 2022, 1.1 million records were found to be invalid and consequently delisted. He also noted that INEC will display the voter register once the process of verification is concluded. Permanent voter card for all valid registrants are also expected to be available for collection by the end of October or early in November. More than 200 electoral officers and assistant electoral officers are undergoing training ahead of next month's local government elections in Osun State. The training is geared towards the conduct of a free, fair and credible polls in the state. Rafi Ahmed has the story.
Preparation for next month's local government election is in top gear. These are the electoral officers and assistant electoral officers to be used for the election. They've been invited to undergo this 5-day intensive training on how to achieve a credible poll. The training was declared open by the chairman of the State Independent Electoral Commission, Segun Oladiton.
So that the elections are conducted in line with international standards, whereby it will be very free, fair, transparent and credible. We are the center, that is the commission, who have to conduct, perform our duties through people. These are the people who are going to perform the duties through. So, and that's why we are giving them very, very intensive training.
One after another, their certificates were screened. The chairman says only 150 out of 200 participants will be taken.
Considering gender, even those who are physically challenged, etc., we have made it so open. It is through their screening that we will now be able to choose those who will be the final.
The essence of a local government election is to make sure that it is free and fair. And for you to guarantee that, there must be a sound and adequate training for the officials, particularly those who are to be the umpires on the field.
The participants promised to be good representatives.
So I came in for the screening to help with the upcoming election, October 15. So we'll start the training, I think it's 5 days training to help us prepared.
I've been well prepared for it, and I've been hoping that the training will be the best. That will be the training will be the best thing that will happen to us so that we can conduct a free and fair election. The training ends on Friday, and thereafter, the electoral officers and the assistant electoral officers will be posted to various local governments and local government development areas across the state where they will serve. The election holds on 15th of next month. Rafael Hamid, TVC News.
For every suicide carried out, there are likely 20 other persons making a suicide attempt and many more having serious suicidal thoughts. That is according to the World Health Organization. The UN body says about 700,000 persons commit suicide annually. Health correspondent Camila has this story.
Suicide is the fourth leading cause of death among youths, and it continues to remain a serious public health concern with a great impact. It is estimated that 77% of all global suicides occur in low and middle income countries. Every case of suicide is a tragedy that affects families, communities, and the entire country, with long-lasting effects on the people they leave behind. This awareness walk through the streets of the nation's capital city by the FCT branch of the Counseling Association of Nigeria is simply to raise the awareness that suicide is totally preventable.
You don't have to die. You can live and still make impact in life. There are so many reasons why people commit suicide. But what we are out today emphasizing is that yes, you don't have to die. You don't have to kill yourself.
Statistics says that in every 40 seconds, one person is committing suicide in the whole world. So you can imagine how many people have committed suicide from the little work that we've had till this time around. So I feel that there's a need for people to really, begin to seek help. I feel that there's a need for people to begin to speak out. It's very important. You don't have to take your life. There are a lot of people who really want to listen to you. So if you're out there and you're going through a lot, please, I urge you to speak out.
Even as the election is approaching, we are working towards making a better Nigerian, but still we have to keep hope alive so that you don't die before the time, you don't die before things happen, even in Nigeria. So keep hope alive.
Mental health services and the availability of evidence-based interventions remain low in Nigeria. These experts highlight ways that suicide can be prevented through proper support in mental services.
When you feel like the world is over, when you feel like nobody loves you, when you feel like nobody cares, counselors care for you. So those things that you can take by yourself, you can come to a counselor that is well-trained to really guide you into taking actions, right actions.
This year's theme is creating hope through action, which serves as a reminder that there is always an alternative. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
The Minister of State for the FCT, Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, joined the list of dignitaries thronging the residence of the British High Commissioner to commiserate with the United Kingdom over the death of Queen Elizabeth II. The minister described the late British monarch as a mother whose leadership was admired globally. Mrs. Aliyu signed the condolence register, where she expressed her condolences to the royal family, Britain, and the Commonwealth community.
In this moment of grief, we know worldwide the pain is felt, the exit is felt. This to me, and to most of us, the Commonwealth family members. This is the end of an era, the Elizabeth era. But the beginning of another one, nature was vacuum. Fortunately, her son steps in. We pray for God to give him the grace to rule with the fear of God and the milk of human kindness. And for the family, God will grant them the fortitude to bear the great loss.
King Charles III and Queen Consort Camila have left the Palace of Holyrood's house and are on the way now to Northern Ireland as part of a tour of the UK. The King will meet Stormont party leaders and receive a message of condolence from the Speaker of the Assembly. Prime Minister Liz Truss will join the royal couple at the church service in Belfast. King Charles and Queen Camila will then travel to Hillsborough Castle for a number of engagements. At the official royal residence, there will be a gun salute when the King enters Hillsborough Castle. A total of 21 rounds at a rate of 6 rounds per minute will be fired. Meanwhile, thousands of people have queued through the night to file past Queen Elizabeth II's coffin as it stands on public view for 24 hours at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. Later, it will be flown to London, where the Queen will lie in state ahead of her funeral on Monday.